Hello, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another broadcast from Fruits of Wisdom. My name is OSA Ohunene Scott Ananaba, or Pastor Nene as I'm usually called. It's indeed an honor to have just been given, you know, Blessing, that's the convener and creator of the Fruit of Wisdom page, has so graciously invited me and, of course, just giving me reign over her studio this evening. And I don't take it for granted and I don't take this honor lightly. So today we'll be discussing the kitchen beyond cooking. As a matter of fact, I'm not here as a pastor or a social media enthusiast. I'm simply here because I run a group called Nene Cooks Don't Break the Bank, how to cook without breaking the bank. And I guess there's something that triggered something in Madam Blessing for her to decide to just call me in here today to talk about the woman, her kitchen, and beyond cooking. So, indeed, I am honored to be here. But before anything, I think we will start this program by praying. And remember, though I can't see you, I can read you. There's a page in the broadcast studio that I can read all your comments. So please let it be as interactive as possible. No one person is a body of knowledge. You know, I can't learn from saying what I know. It's not possible. I'm just simply saying what I know, and I can easily learn from what others throw at me. So I'll do the best I can today to take us through what I consider being a woman, your kitchen. I know the world has said so much about talking about a woman and her kitchen. It's a patriarchal thing. But I just hope that at the end of today's interaction, a woman would take control of her kitchen and understand that it's a place that goes just beyond cooking. So let's pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, I just want to thank you for today. I want to thank you for this time that you have just by your mercies given us the privilege to enjoy. As we come today, we ask that the airwaves be subject to you. We ask for good connectivity. We ask, Father Lord, that as we discuss the woman, her kitchen, and it being a place that is just beyond cooking, that at the end of it, we'll not just be edified, but we'll be more, gingered as women to take what is our possessions. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen. So, first of all, as women, growing up, most people just felt any woman who can't cook, there must be something the matter with her. I'm quick to say that at 52, I actually started learning how to actively cook, maybe at the age of 19. So it's not about how you start to learn to cook early or how late you learn to cook. We're using the kitchen today as a metaphor for a woman to understand the real meaning of control as God, I'm sure, designed it. Growing up for most women, they'll say to us, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. The way to this is through that. Then, of course, with the advent of girl power, with the advent of feminism and all of that, there was this great urge for women to fight against everything that seemed to be a patriarchal, stronghold. No, the kitchen is not our place. We need to go out there and break the glass ceiling. We need to do this, we need to do that. But there's a reason, like I always say, why a woman had to carry the child. There's a reason why the woman is the nurturer. Like I mentioned earlier, when they say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. And of course, if you've ever heard about the myth about Efik women, they will say, she will give you love portion, she will do this, she will do that. It's just simply put, a woman understanding her place as a nurturer. I remember in the program sometime last week, the lady spoke about serving milk, not water. If we know the story of Jael, Jael knew the right thing to give that man. she knew the right thing to give Sisera to weaken him. That milk came out of a place. It came out of her nurturing table. I dare say it came out from that place where she had control over. I dare say it came out of her kitchen. So for a woman, over time, and I'll tell you as we go on why I decided to just have that group page where I just started sharing my home meals I cook at home for my family, for my husband. And I just started sharing, and I said, you don't need to break the bank. Over time, like for me, who ultimately became a career woman and things like that, it's not as if I didn't have help. It's not as if I didn't have people doing things for me. But guess what? It got to a point where the way I catered for my home, my husband, or my kids, my husband especially, it was a direct response to the way I felt at any given time. So, one thing that God I know has given to us, He's given us the power to carry a womb. He's given us the power to grow life. He's given us the power to nurture. So for me, the kitchen has become a symbol of a safe place. The kitchen is that place that you can make or destroy, and that's the truth. So many of us, when we ultimately always like to see the kitchen as a chore, as a place where I'm made to work. Oh, I went to work, I came back, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that. You ultimately see it as that. There's a saying, where a man's treasure is, that is where his heart is. So over time, I started to understand, and I began rather to understand the power of a kitchen. Okay, I'm married to an Igbo man, right? And in the Igbo society, though it's patrilineal, where you have a polygamous setup, you hear of things like our kitchen. Maybe a man marries like 5 wives, right? Each wife has her kitchen. I'm sure anybody who is Igbo, I don't know if it's done in other cultures, but anybody who's Igbo understands this, because I got to understand, like, by the time I got married, by the special grace of God, I've been married for 26 years this last April. Even when you go, you will see brothers of the same mother, though they have the same father. They talk about the kitchen. So you see, no matter what, the Obi was usually the man's place. It was the man's center, his center of authority. Yes, the man is the head of the home, but there's an authority that was given to every woman, and that's the authority over her kitchen. So you see, that her kitchen became a symbol of a safe place. Her children will come in there. The other wives can't just stroll into her kitchen. In her kitchen, even though she's a woman, you know, one of many wives in a home of one husband, her kitchen was ultimately where she held sway. Nobody comes to mess with her kitchen. The children, when they probably want to get away from their father, or they have siblings and everything, their mother's kitchen became their safe place. That's why, if you notice, fast track to our days, you see a woman has a housekeeper, a house help. If I have a witness, like I said, it's in an interactive session, I can actually say all your comments. Yes, thank you. I'm seeing somebody saying a woman is a nurturer. Although I can't necessarily see who is saying it, probably I'll just have to open because this is a studio, so maybe I can interact better, since incidentally I'm also a member of Blessings wonderful group, Fruits of Wisdom. So I'm sure if I see names there, I can recognize, because in this kind of interactive sessions, it's really good to just, you know, talk to people. So like I was saying, that's why you would see, if okay, I think I'm going to the live place now. Yes, I can get to see the names of people who are saying one thing or the other. So good. Like I said, so if you notice, when a woman has like a house help, usually when the house help starts giving attitude and starts acting somehow, check it. Her madam has relinquished her kitchen to her. I've been there. I know what I'm saying. You know, No house help just goes out on a limb if a certain amount of authority has not been arrogated to her. So you can see, you'll see for some house helps the way they operate the kitchen, they decide what has to be eaten. They do this. See, any woman who has, okay, good. I think it's back now. Sorry, oh, no vex. We don't own our ISP or except maybe Blessing is hoping to get one soon. So like I was saying, so you see when people, even if you have a younger sister living with you and everything, she she's the one cooking, she's the one doing this, she's the one doing that. Watch it. Whether it's a relative or anything, there is a sense of authority that comes with the kitchen. That's one thing. Famously, I mean, when I used to I was actively a pastor. One thing I used to always tell women is, don't lose hold of your kitchen. It's not about the cooking. It's not about the cooking. Like, yes, I understand women are busy, women are doing this, doing that. But do you really know what comes out of your kitchen? Do you know what people are eating per time? You know what people don't understand is the easiest way somebody can get anybody is controlling how they are catered for. You know how they say people necessarily don't remember what you do for them or do to them, but they'll ultimately remember how you made them feel. When we talk about a five-star experience, when we talk about an experience that lingers, it's the general idea of how you catered to somebody. I can't remember which movie actor of the golden age, one of these women from way back who famously said something. Okay, this is a female group, so I can say it. She said there are three things a woman should be. She should be number one, the perfect hostess. Number two, she should be the greatest Caucasian. Now, you know what I mean by that, you know? She must be the greatest courtesan, rather, knowing how to, do the nasty in the other room. Then, number three, she must aim to be a cordon bleu chef. I'm not saying everybody should be a perfect chef, but if I should be honest with, in fact, I said it would be a no hold bar session. That's what I said to Blessing. Can you remember the last three meals you gave to your husband? Let me ask somebody that question. The last three meal you gave to your husband. Remember what I said at the beginning? Where a man's treasure is, that's where his heart is. You see, it might seem very mundane. Kitchen. Do you know that so many of us, we relinquish our authority in the kitchen to others? And before you know it, you're losing the grip of your home. Losing grip of your home. Do you know what it is? You're just coming from work. I'm not saying you're going to start slaving over the oven. Not everybody can be Nene Cooks. And at best, forget it. Don't be deceived. I'm not always at the top of my game. But you see, if we can plan the clothes we wear, if we can plan the ashwabi we will put on for events, if we can spend hours doing things for ourselves, how about those people, that individual? Let me start first from the man that God has given to you as custodian. You see, the thing about us, we think it's about, the aesthetics of the way we look, the aesthetics of the things we are done. See, one thing about me, I'll beat my chest, boldly and speak my truth. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look good. There's nothing really wrong with wanting to do any of that. But you see, when the chips are down, are you in control? When the chips are down, and that is what the kitchen symbolizes for me. When the chips are down, let it be that when you just enter your house like this, you're headed for the kitchen, everybody knows Madam has come and they stand down. So even if they're doing something else, say, no, I think this is what Oga will want to eat. I think this is what. So it's first, it's a symbol of control. It's a symbol of control. And I try to advise women, even if you have house helps, let them just be like your sous chefs. I've seen there's this lady I know who, I mean, they will do everything. She just comes at the end of the day. She's the one who it seems is catering for that man. I'm not saying we should wear ourselves thin. I mean, there are some times I have a very good friend who, I mean, she's a part of my family. She knows there are times I will call my husband and say, honey, I'm not up to cooking today because I'm not fortunate enough, although I'm looking for somebody to assist me. But I'm like, of course, I have older kids who can do one or two things. But I'll say, "Oh, honey, I'm not up to doing anything this night. Do you think you can get something to," and he will. There's nothing there. But you see, the fact remains your kitchen is one place that you should never, ever lose control of. I hope you know that most times, that's why it's when you go to, when they're showing all these movies and they're showing restaurants, they're showing kitchens. I mean, recently a friend turned me to watching Sweet Magnolias. And one of them, if you know that character who was the chef, if you've watched Sweet Magnolias on Netflix, it should be an indication of the power of the one who reigns supreme over the kitchen. You saw that woman couldn't tolerate, she didn't tolerate just anything happening in her kitchen. She didn't. She didn't tolerate anything happening in her kitchen. But you see, because of, well, I'll say being politically correct, we live in a world where I don't, when you talk about kitchen, it's like you're trying to make me subservient. Have you seen when male chefs are controlling their kitchen? Have you seen what happens? Male chefs, they're even the ones who understand the power of the kitchen. They know whatever comes out of the kitchen. There is one thing a king will always have. A king might not have, you know, how do I put it now? A king must always have somebody that will serve him food, that will bring food for him to eat. Remember what happened with the story of Joseph and that guy who was the king's baker and all of that? You know, the fact that you have control over your kitchen will take you to places that otherwise someone who is otherwise doing something else might not be able to reach. And that's the truth. The chef must always, haven't you seen when the king eats or people eat, they'll say, compliments of the chef to the chef. I won't lie to you. Sometimes I do order, I get food from outside. But you know what? It doesn't mean that I'm shirking what I consider to be one of my primary responsibilities. I know somebody might be watching and this one's old school. What is she saying? What is she doing? This? See, I have gone through the pains experienced by someone who almost lost her kitchen. I mean, when I see all this feminism and all of that, I've gone through the trenches. At the end of the day, you know how they say, use your tongue to count your teeth. And I want to tell a woman today, it's not that difficult. If you have children, like I said, I have adults, young adults as kids now, except my bonus who is 13. And if for those of you who usually watch Nene Cooks, you see, most times when he's on holiday, because he's in the kitchen with me. The older ones, yes, then the kitchen with me, that's one because, like I said, I don't have help. Can you help me cut the potatoes? Can you help me do this? And as they're doing it, we're talking. Most of the time with my youngest, it is while we're in the kitchen, I get all the gists. I remember there was a time I had a TV in the kitchen not too long ago. We had to take it down because I noticed that people will just stay in the kitchen because they want to watch Go TV because the Go TV was connected to the kitchen. So I said, no, if we're here, the TV, the kitchen is a gist place. It's such that, I mean, I'm not fortunate. Some women are fortunate to have husbands who will hang out with them in the kitchen. But sometimes the kind of laughter that will be coming out of the kitchen, if the man is downstairs, he you see he's kind of curious to know what is happening there. The thing about most of us these days, and I'm not generalizing, but that's why when I say most, I always put us to even include myself, is the fact that for most women, the very idea of a kitchen has become like a chore. Let me remind us of Sarah. Remember when the strangers came, because I want to let us understand the power of a kitchen and the grace that comes with hospitality. When the angels came, the strangers that they didn't know were angels, when Abraham said to her, I said, get the fattest goat and kill it. From whence did that thing come? It was from the kitchen, from the place of purpose. And after they ate to their fill, we saw what followed next. We saw what follows next. Like I always say to people, I say, see, for most women, I can remember when I started doing Nene Cooks Don't Break the Bank. I mean, I had people who would say to me, what is this? What is that? And sometimes this make me feel as if, oh, and pretty recently, someone reminded me, and even my husband as well. When I say Nene Cooks, I didn't give myself that name. This name was given to me as far back as 1995. And I remember when I got back into Lagos, because at a point in Port Harcourt, I got distracted. I couldn't care less what the man ate. I had people, oh, just boil rice for him. Anyhow, do this, do this, do this, do this, do that. And not until, I transitioned into this new season of my life, I don't know, I just started having, the kitchen just started calling me again. The kitchen started calling me again. And I'm telling you, I'm much more busier in this city than I was in Lagos. But I tell you, I began to find out that no matter how tired I am, let me just get into the kitchen. A new lease of life just comes over me, because I began to see the things I do in the kitchen as a means of honoring my family, honoring my husband. I began to see it. It's a change in perspective. It's a change in perspective. So women, the busier they get, they don't even know what is going on in their kitchen. I'm like, for real? And honestly, I don't blame anybody, but I want to say something. One thing I got to understand is I deliberately had to ask God for the grace to take control of my kitchen. And it's one area that when you see something in one person's life, you can actually seek to have it in your life. I know there's this lady I know, I know, highly placed. She has this powerful job and everything. And I think 2 or 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, yeah, I went to her house. My sisters, when I hear of women saying they're busy, they're busy. But this woman had her kitchen in her grip. She had people for her, everything. But you see, everything that had to do with catering to her household, especially her husband, she had it in control. She was in control. And I remember I started, not just that, not I just didn't only admire her. I had to start talking to her. And she said to me, when you start thinking you are too busy, in fact, you put it this way, if you think you're too busy to take charge of your kitchen and serve your husband, ah, my dear sisters, I came to this town and I began to understand the power of the kitchen. And see, let me tell you something. When we say beyond cooking, that's where I'm coming to. See, a woman that can control what he eats, how she manages, they say how you go rohi. There's this thing they say, how you go rohi the whole thing, how you go do the magic, how you go do the design. I'm telling you, there is no way you will not learn how to not only micromanage, but how to multitask. But remember, I said something a while back. I said a couple of months ago, I was talking to some people. I said, don't call it multitasking when you're running all over the place. You call it multitasking when you are doing, albeit 75% successfully. See, I have a tab. I have a tab, right? If I show you my notes on my tab, I plan everything. When I can't plan, eh, you know that I'm all over the place. You're a woman, you're asking, how can I see? Except maybe there is no light in your area. But even then, there's sometimes we didn't have power. This might sound mundane. Somebody listen to this. What is this woman talking about? But I'm saying, sit down, begin to plan the meals. There's sometimes my husband is going out of town. I'll boil his meat and everything and keep in the freezer. Let him, it doesn't matter whenever he comes, something, something, something. You just need to plan. And it's the truth. Don't let yourself be caught unawares. I remember then, back in the day, it's when I'm coming back home in the evening, I'm beginning to think of what. It is not too much for me to call my husband almost every day. So what did you have for lunch? Do you? Because see, it's now part of the whole process of the relationship. It is the whole process of the relationship. Some people say, what's she talking about? Talking about meals? Yes, we talk about food. So have you eaten Gary today? No. Okay, what do you think? You know, it's it's a continuous thing. It's not just only about the children, it's not only just about the conjugal relationship and that I'm talking about sex. It's not only about that. Even food. So even if there's no other person who talks about food in this world with, let it be that it's that it's that mundane but necessary. It's mundane but necessary. If you begin to do this, you'll notice that you are not, of course, I get overwhelmed because I don't have help. You know, I get overwhelmed because I don't have help. But guess what? I had to now learn to manage. And that's, if you open my freezer at any time, there are all kinds of things inside. Not because I have so much or I have much, but because I just plan. I plan. You cannot tell me as a woman because you are busy 7 days a week, every day, this, that, that. I have a window I use for shopping. I don't know about which city you are in, but I know me and my Oyibo are 5 and 6. It's planning. There's no way I can say I want to live on island prices beyond cooking. You will see you begin to learn prudence because number one, you want to cater for your home without breaking the bank. I tell people, some people don't believe in leftovers. My home, my dear sisters, my home is a heaven of leftovers. In fact, I get so angry. It's like I want to trash. I want to trash. A friend of mine was catching me doing a lot of trashing this past week. And I'll forget myself because I was just tired of having a lot of leftovers. You see, the thing is, we discuss big issues, how to make money, how to grow your business, um, how to hit that jackpot, how to impress, how to do this, how to do that. And these little things that are like connecting the dots, we don't think they're important. We talk of how to fast for 10 days, how to make heaven come down, this, that, that. But remember, these are the little things that, when left undone, some human being, whether it's your husband, your children, whatever, they feel unloved. Yes, from the powerhouse of the kitchen, you can speak the language of love. Do you know that when your husband sees that you are concerned about what he eats, he doesn't need you to tell him I love you every day. But every time he comes, is he it's watch some of this TikTok now. Is the help that is cooking. You are very, very busy. When you don't even care to go into the kitchen to know what's happening in the kitchen. My sisters, it's not good. Whether you are big, you are high up there, know what is going on in your kitchen. It is not about cooking. It is the control. Yes, you might become so rich that you have 1,001 chefs, you have a this and that. Your role as a hostess kicks in. So you extend it. If you're smart, your husband is a wine aficionado, he has a wine cellar and everything, you should put your finger on the pulse of what is happening in your home. It's not your house girl that can tell you, no eggs, no this, no that. You are too busy. Career woman. See, no matter what anybody will say, I mean, I owe no one any apologies. Some people might come for me at me for this, but I'm telling you, 26 years of marriage. Anybody that tells you your kitchen is not important is not being honest with you. Your kitchen, even before that, your walk-in closets. And when I'm talking about your kitchen, I'm not saying how well appointed it is. I'm not talking about how you have all the gadgets. I'm not saying that. Of course, those things help, because I won't lie to you, my dear. Sometimes I'd rather buy one gadget that will make life easy for me. Forget it. You're not going to see me using this into pounded yam. I will not do that. But you see, pounded yam will be eaten in my house because I have what will do it. So you see, the same way you put in so much attention to getting yourself that new edition bag or whatever once in a while. And now, AliExpress is so affordable. AliExpress is affordable. Okay, yeah, you might have issues because of PayPal issues and all of that, but go on Jumia. Jumia also brings things from abroad. Just takes a little time. Get those kitchen gizmos. Begin. Yes, this is not a preaching thing. Today, we're not preaching. We are saying those little things that will help us dot our I's and cross our T's in our homes. This is fruits of wisdom for women, wives, and women that don't cheat and all that. So when you relinquish the authority of your kitchen, you're not just cheating on any other person, you're cheating yourself, because you don't get the joy. And I'm telling you, I was a hardcore career woman. Anything they see them and then chop, anything. Oh, how's help? Do this, boil this, boil that. But the little wins are what I'm talking about this evening. And it goes beyond cooking. The kitchen is a place of intimacy. I'm not talking about turning it into a place of foreplay or whatever. Well, anything that rocks your boat, but it's a place of intimacy. I don't know who has ever watched this movie that had Penelope Cruz years ago. It was something about something for chocolates, either water for chocolates or something like that. It's a place of intimacy. You know the right thing you would do for your husband to eat. You know. I mean, it's funny. I tell people I've grown to this point that, let me just put it this way, that I've spoiled him. Yeah, right. So the day it's not a certain way, you will. It's like, because he's, you know that thing when I'm talking about intimacy, that your spouse, he gets to a level that he knows, I can only receive this kind of intimacy in the place of culinary service from my home. I'm not talking about riches or anything. Our mothers back in the day, they knew it. They will just have their earthenware dishes, put his, they don't just put the gari and the plates together. Some men, you wonder why they want to eat out, because of the way they are served. Even the girl that is coming to give them service, Oga, Oga, take now. You want the gari, you want the soup. But we just, so many of us, we just do it like that. My children will always frown because they say they're the ones that will wash plates. When it, cause everything. I thank God. I mean, this our Lagos here, that you have Okeari, where you have cute dishes. I know somebody there with, what is this one talking about? But for real, you have cute dishes, little things like that. Cater to him. It's intimacy. Don't let anybody sell you that thing, that the fact you're catering to a man takes your personality, or reduces you from who you are. Instead, as far as I'm concerned, it makes you a superwoman. Get as much help as you can. Fine, it's good. That's why you see the best chefs in this world. They have sous chefs who do all the prep. They're the ones that come in to cook. See, the place of intimacy is not about cutting the okra. It's not about pounding the yam. That's not it. It's the fact that I put all these things together for someone I love, I respect, I honor. It's an act of service. Somebody say, let me see who said this, that the market is a hidden treasure. I did tell you, I can't see who said that on this, right? But you see, I'm saying to a woman, it takes that special thing. Someone here is saying, okay, yes. Hey, when you're on license, it takes bricks to build a house. Without the bricks, the house cannot stand. Get it right. Exactly. It takes bricks. So it's simply a thing where it's not easy. I tell you, it's not easy. But begin to understand that your kitchen, like I was telling us at the beginning about polygamous homes in Igbo land, where she says she has her kitchen, anything goes in her kitchen and all that. So it's a place where you have control. It's a place where you can build. I mean, most children who have that, you know, that with their mothers and they're helping out and stuff like that. You know, still as a mother, you become like a shrink in the kitchen where you're talking to people around you. So many things happen. Why do you think away they have some of these open plan houses that the kitchen is in like a living space? There's a sitting lounge where the kitchen is. It's because for anybody who understands, like for me, I would say cooking too is somewhat therapeutic for me. You know, when I'm cooking, I'm thinking, for like most times when I'm even in the kitchen, I sometimes don't really want anybody around me, especially when I am going through things where I want to think or something. So you can help me with the prep and all, but the cooking and all that. So you notice sometimes where you have kitchens that like around, it becomes like a family bonding time. Before you know it, you finished cooking. Like recently, there's something I said I was planning for Nene Cooks, where a couple of people who will just come together, just cook. And so, what was going to share a couple of scriptures that I said I was going to share, some Bible verses. Yes. Ezekiel 24:10. I didn't want to miss it. It says, heap on the logs, kindle the fire, boil the meat well, mix in the spices, and let the bones be burnt up. If you even go for Genesis 9:2-3, where God was talking about the things that He gave us to cook with, if you notice, there is this thing about food. Even when in the book of Matthew says, give us this day our daily bread. See, no matter how well we think we live, we need even the things that come out of the kitchen for us to be sustained. So you see, a woman who has her kitchen has the life source of her family, has the life source. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, Genesis 9:2-3. You got it. Genesis 9:2-3. So if you even see the Bible, sometimes you hear when the psalmist says, oh, taste and see that God is good. There's so many metaphors that have to do with food, with eating. If every time God is saying, eat, it is written, man shall not live by bread, so many metaphors that have to do with food, then you will know that food, the preparation of it thereof, is important. It's important. Even also, God knows it's important. So I know I've just had a one-way conversation with us tonight. I'm so glad I could make this because, like I was telling Sister Blessing a couple of minutes before we started, of the kind of day I had, but I just thank God I'm able to have just shared this. And if you notice, I was just speaking from my heart. I had planned it to be like very, very academic, whatever. But with what happened to me today, I just said, no, I'll just speak from the heart. I'll just talk to a woman and say, see, do not be drawn in by modern philosophies that tell you if you take your place in your kitchen, it devalues you. It's not true. There are so many ways and means that you can take control of where the life force of your home is. Is it any wonder, like I said, while so many women are twiddling their fingers and say, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, the best chefs in this world, they are men. Because they understand the power of what goes into the stomach. Yes, the word of God says it's not what goes into a man, but what comes out of him. But you see, what goes into him keeps him. What goes into him can buy his confidence, can win his confidence. And what goes into him, I'm trying to remember that movie that Penelope Cruz acted, where anytime the woman was bitter towards her husband, every meal she cooked, because she'll be, I think she used to tear up or so. Every meal she cooked when she was in pain used to be very bitter. But anytime she cooked from a place of love, the husband used to feel it as he ate. In fact, as he's eating like this, tears of joy used to run down his cheek. I don't know about anybody, but I know that my decision a couple of years ago to walk back into my kitchen, a place that pain had kept me out of for a very, very long time, was one of the best decisions I took. And today, it's held me in good stead. So I'm saying to a woman, don't be too busy to cater for your beloved. Don't be too busy. Don't be too busy. Because I'm telling you, death and life, they say is in the tongue. Oh. But you see that thing the man is taking like this and putting inside his mouth. You can either give him death or you give him life. God bless you. So I don't know if there are any questions. Yes, yes, yes. Let me see if there are any questions. Are there any questions from our ladies in the house? Or do you have any contributions so I can put it up? Are there contributions? Let me see. That's true. Blessing is saying, indeed, our mothers of old, that's the convener. I'm sure everyone in the house knows her. Blessing Elvis Eseosa. Thanks for having me today. Indeed, our mothers of old understood the importance of the kitchen in their marriages. Little wonder they didn't joke with it. Yes, because you can remember back in the day, no matter what you did, your mother, your father will wait for her to come for him to eat her food. He wouldn't even eat food being cooked by other people or anything. You see, one thing people don't understand, like, you know why I keep on saying 26 years of marriage, 26 years of marriage, because I don't want someone to just happen on this thing and say, where is this woman talking from? It's at least, you know, with the how would I put it? The benefits. Give me the benefit of doubt. You see, you know, I said, don't worry, I know where I go hold them. So many women, now for that area, because they know. You know how the man will travel for some time and he's coming back, he's telling you what he wants to eat because he knows you will deliver. When he comes in through the door, he's not going to start having sex from the door, will he? But one thing he's sure of is a warm meal in his belly. A warm meal in his belly. That those were the things our mothers understood. No matter if the house was burning, when the man comes in, he must eat first. He will eat first. He'll be catered to first before you tell him how the house burnt in his absence. There's a question here. Yes, question. Ma, what would you say to a woman who says I cook well, but it means nothing to my husband? Well. Very, very good. It means nothing to him in what sense? You see, one of the reasons why I fell out with my kitchen was because, like I said, I said my husband's friend was one who called me, then they cooks and all that. You will cook. He will never say anything. I know that's why communication is very, very important. He won't say anything and all that. Then maybe one day we eat and say, there's so much salt in this thing, there's this and that. So all those things were, part of what just made me like, what is it? Anyhow. But guess what? If you know you cook very well and it means nothing to your husband, that is what you think. That's perspective. For all you know, he's just taking it for granted that you cook very well. You see that woman, one day, this is a litmus test. Let her cook one food that is no good and put it before the man. I'm sure it's only women listen to this. You will see there will be a reaction. I remember when I had that conversation with my husband, and it was like, I know you cook well now. So, but I said, it's not like that. I want, and that was years ago. So, even up till date, it's just I guess it's just a habit is formed. When he finishes it and he say, wow, honey, that was beautiful. That was quite tasty. That was and I won't lie to you, there's nobody who doesn't like affirmation. I'm not talking about validation because when she says it means nothing to her husband, then it seems she's seeking validation. But she's not seeking validation. What she seeks is affirmation that the food is good. Validation is you're not too sure the thing is good. You sometimes say, no. But she knows she cooks very well. So she wants affirmation. And one thing I've learned, don't be afraid to ask for what you want. Honey, this food, is it that? But if she's not ready to do that, trust me, let her put too much salt one day. The man will react. Then she will know. That's if she wants to go that route. If not, but you can be sure that she should understand that it's good. She's still eating. She's still eating. If it means nothing to him, she hasn't qualified, or you haven't qualified what it means for it to mean nothing to him. Is she or is he not eating the food? Or is he eating the food and licking it till we see made in China? The label that's in the right inscription on the plate. Is he licking it till we see that? Then she should know. There's one thing that God has made women. We are capable of having guile. There's how you eat. The thing is sweet. In just they do younger. But trust me, we're getting to the point where attitude, like you said, really matters. And even our own attitude as well. Because she's saying to you, it means nothing to him. It's a two-way street. What's her reaction to that? His behavior of it means nothing to him. So hopefully she'll be able to understand that there are ways. You, like a friend of mine will always say, we must have that conversation. You see, cooking, kitchen, everything is a whole package. You don't only have a conversation with your husband when you think, oh, I'm not having sex enough, or is it every time I say, or this, I do this. Meal, meals, catering, everything. It's part of the conversation. She can say it, honey. I don't know. I want to just ask you something. Is it that you don't like the meals I cook or what? Because, and you'll be surprised. He'll just open up. You know, most times we bear needless pain because we just sulk, and we assume significant others, are like soothsayers or our spirits that know what thoughts are in our hearts. So we can never be too sure of what the next person thinks till we take that bold step of asking. So I don't know if there are any other questions. Thank you very much for that. So exactly. You wanted to me that. Yes, yes, yes. Let me put that in case nobody can see what she said. So that is that. So I hope for just in case anybody watches this later or has other questions, um and for those of you who are probably watching on my news feed, because I said to Mrs. Blessing, oh, can it be on my news feed? Because Fruits of Wisdom is actually a private group. I mean, I think there's about an average of like 4,000 and something women on that page. She gives such life, you know, changing words, pearls of wisdom. She has periodic discussion programs such as this on that platform. And it's been a blessing. I've been a part of that platform for like 2 years now, and I've been really, really blessed on the Fruit of Wisdom platform. So, Mrs. Blessing, I say a very big thank you to you for, just bringing together this body of women. And I just hope as everyone continues to key into what God is using you to do on this wonderful platform, we'll all be the better for it. So, Blessing just said it all. I didn't want to use those words, Blessing. She said, imagine flinging a plate at him like a dog. Just saying, most of us, on some of us, I won't say most of us, because that's a blatant generalization. So many of us will have that attitude. Please, it doesn't matter, even if it's just a tapioca and gari presentation. Presentation. I mean, when I'm giving my husband beans and gari here, you think it's beans and gari is this thing. In fact, the boys they know everything separate, everything well packaged, beans and gari. Oh. So even if it's tapioca, the way you present it to him, because the question I always ask women, and I always ask them severally, you know, you just serve your husband anyhow, but if his boss comes to the house, you go and bring correct plates, or visitors come, correct plates. The plate that you cannot serve your husband with, no visitor deserves to be given that plate. The kind of teacup you cannot give him, no visitor deserves it. So I just urge us to just take control and do what is right. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for today. Thank God for every one of you who has stopped by. I say, God bless you. I'm blessed and thank you for having me. Good night.